everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be really fun. I'm doing a little Q&A. I put a question box up on my Instagram for you guys to send in some fun questions, and I got some really good ones, so I'm really excited. I did want to mention, if you're not following me on Instagram, you definitely should. I'll put my handle up right here for you guys. I do a lot of polls or question boxes, just kind of to get a feel for what you guys want to see next on my YouTube channel, or, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So make sure you're following me. So before I get into all of your guys' questions, I figured I'd just do like some simple questions just to kind of like get it all out there. So my name is Joy. If you don't know, welcome. I am 24 years old. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I was born and raised. I've never lived anywhere else. This is my place. I am married to my sweetheart Logan. We have been together for 8 years now. Yeah, 8 years. And we're actually celebrating our 1-year wedding anniversary just next week, actually. So it's coming up, August 28th. And that was one of the biggest questions I got, was our love story. Woo woo woo. It's a really funny story, and it's actually kind of cringy, to be honest. So we met back in 2013. He mass followed me on Instagram, and I was infatuated with him immediately. I was like, oh my gosh, he's so cute, I'm obsessed with him. And we just kept like commenting on each other's photos back and forth. I commented on one of his photos and I said like, you have great taste in music or something, or he had like posted a video with some really good music, and I had told him to listen to some songs by Washed Out, which is one of my favorite music artists. And he commented back and was like, oh my gosh, I love them. You should send me like your top 10 favorite songs right now. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I would love to. But he figured that was like the best way to get my number, apparently, without saying like, give me your number. So I was like, oh, like I don't want to be too forward and be like, well, here's my number. And also that was back when you didn't have direct messaging. And so I would have just been commenting to him like what my phone number was. I was like, I don't want everyone knowing what my phone number is. So I messaged him and I was like, do you have an email? And he was like, yeah, I do. And then we emailed back and forth for like a month and a half. And then we finally decided to like meet up and like go on an actual date. And the night before we were supposed to meet up, I like emailed him. And I was like, so how are we gonna know like who's who? Like, do you have a phone number? Or, and he was like, are you kidding me? You've had a phone this whole time? Like, he thought that I just like didn't have a phone or something. And yeah, the rest is history after that. We dated. We weren't really like super serious at first. We were kind of just like best friends for a solid like year or so. We would kiss and stuff, but like nothing was like set in stone or serious. But I wanted to be like serious right off the bat. And Logan had just gotten out of a relationship, so he was like, I don't know. But after a couple of years of just being like really good friends and getting to know each other really well, we decided to make it official. And yeah, then we got married last year, and it's been awesome. So let me look at some of the questions I had. Here's a good one to tie into Logan and I. I got one, if we were to get matching tattoos, what would it be? And this is really funny actually, because we were watching TikToks the other night together, and we saw a bunch of really cool TikToks by this guy that does tattoos for a living. And he like had different options of like matching but not matching tattoos. So it was like similar tattoos, but they're just different enough that they're not like exactly the same. And I think I actually found one that I was like, I would totally get a matching tattoo like that with Logan. I also, here's the thing, I do think that in relationships, especially just like with your like spouse or partner or whoever, I think it can kind of be a kiss of death if you do get matching tattoos, especially if you have like their name on it or like a special date or something. There's just not good vibes there. So I would never get something like that, and I think it would be definitely like a big step for me to get a matching tattoo with Logan, because I am such a superstitious person too that I'm just like, I don't know if I'd want to get one. But anyway, if I was to get one, I would get this one. I'll put it up on the screen. So it's by this TikTok guy. His name is Jake the Illustrator, and it's cowboy frogs. And they are the cutest things I've ever seen in my entire life, and Logan actually was obsessed with them as well. And their little boots, like, can we talk about their little boots? They're so cute, and they're little short things, and then their bellies and their hats with the little hearts on them. I'm obsessed. Like, I kind of just want to get one just for myself because they're so cute. So we would probably do something like goofy and silly like that. We wouldn't get anything like our wedding date or like each other's names or anything. I feel like that's a little tacky. Yeah, that's what we would get. Next question. Oh, what I do for a living. I am a photographer, and another question that I got was, how did I get into photography? So I do a lot of like portrait photography. I've done product photography. I've done a little bit of everything in the last few years. I've been a photographer professionally now, like making money from it, for about, I would say 4 years, and then I officially went full-time with it, like full-time freelance, last June. So I've been doing it for about 1.5 years now. That's like solely what my income is now. But before that, I was actually a product photographer for a boutique here in Utah, and I've just been shooting like weddings, portraits, senior portraits, family portraits, anything under the sun, I've shot it. And how I got started in it, I'm trying to think. There's not really like a specific thing that caused me to like be obsessed with photography. I've always loved it growing up. I always had cameras growing up. I loved documenting my family growing up. My parents didn't really have a ton of like wedding photos, and so I think them not having like a ton of photos from like when they first got married, I don't know, something about that definitely made me like want to document everything growing up. And I just thought it was so cool that you could literally just take a picture of a moment in time and have it for the rest of your life. Like, the fact that you can have something so special for forever is just so cool to me. And just the like mechanics behind a camera and how it works, I think is so cool. I did photography in high school just for fun. Like, I didn't take portraits or anything. And then right out of high school, I got my first like big girl camera. It was the Canon Rebel, I think it was the T3i. And I started taking portraits of my friends and my family, and then I started getting inquiries for like, you know, friends asking for photos and that they would pay me for them, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And then of course having Logan, he's an amazing photographer. If you're not following him on Instagram, you absolutely need to, because his work is unbelievable. He's so amazing. He's like the Mr. Miyagi of like cameras and photos and everything. And so when I was kind of learning how to shoot manual with my first DSLR, he helped me a lot. And he started out in photography with like, he did landscapes and stuff, and so we just kind of like helped each other along the way of figuring out what kind of photography we loved to do the most, and kind of like fed off of each other's love for it. And then we decided a couple of years ago to start a joint business together of portraits and weddings and stuff. So now we shoot weddings together and family portraits and all that good stuff. So that's kind of like my whole origin story. My favorite type of photography to shoot is hands down, without a doubt, boudoir photography, which I do have a website for, and I will actually link it below for you guys. Okay, another question I got was if I went to college, and I did. I actually went to college for a year. I went to the University of Utah. It's an amazing school here in Utah. It just wasn't for me. Nothing against college. I think people who go to college and they graduate and they get a degree, I think that is one of the most cool things, and it's so, what is the word? I didn't go to college, so I guess I don't know the word. I just think it's so, like, impressive when people go to college and they get their degree, and, like, people that do, you know, like, med school and all of that stuff. I'm like, all of the props to you, because I went for a year. I was a full-time student. I did just generals, and I am not like a sit in a classroom person. That's not how I learn. That's never how I've liked to learn either. And I just couldn't justify spending so much money on something that I absolutely didn't love doing, like, in the least. I was pretty miserable, to be honest. I cried all the time, and I just felt so lost because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I also, like, I knew that I wanted to do photography, but I didn't want to go to school for it because I basically knew everything that I needed to know about it. Like, I didn't need to learn how to use a camera, and the only thing that I needed to do was build a clientele, which I was already doing. I was shooting portraits and stuff on the side. And so I was like, you know, this doesn't make any sense to me, and I was like, I'm gonna take a break and then we'll see how it goes. And that's never how it goes. If you take a break, you never go back. But to be honest, like, I think it was one of the most, like, best decisions I've ever made for myself in my entire life. I do have times where I'm like, oh, maybe I should have, but in my heart and soul, I know that I made the right decision. And for anyone out there that's, like, you know, feeling the pressure from either friends or family to go to college, I feel you. I definitely got a lot of flack from some of my family members. Not my parents. My parents were actually really supportive about it, which was so, so nice. But I got some flack from some family members, and it made it hard because I was already questioning, like, my whole life, basically. And then taking this jump was, like, even scarier, and then to have people kind of, like, doubt me and stuff, it was kind of hard. But you figure it out, and honestly, you have the rest of your life to go to college as well. It's not you have to do it in your early 20s or nothing. Like, you can always go back to college. Like, it's not as big of a deal as everyone makes it sound to be. So, what does my Pinterest feed look like right now? Okay, I love Pinterest. I've been on Pinterest literally since middle school, and I just haven't stopped. I love it so much, especially if I'm feeling like in a rut with, like, either my makeup or my hair, or specifically outfits. I will always just go to Pinterest, find some inspo. It's the best. But my Pinterest is, like, my favorite little, it's like a fun little spot that's just, like, makes me happy. And it's always just, like, a positive place too. Like, I feel like I don't ever see things that make me sad on Pinterest, like TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or all that kind of stuff. I feel like Pinterest is, like, a safe haven from all of that kind of stuff. It's just, like, good vibes all around. My Pinterest feed right now, I'll put it on the screen for you guys so you can see. But it's basically just a bunch of outfit pics of girls that I think are just absolutely gorgeous, love their vibe. Very Parisian, I feel like. Just very, like, simple, minimalist. And then, of course, we've got, like, mixes of either quotes or fun car pics and stuff like that. But yeah, my Pinterest feed is, like, so special to me because just all of the good vibes, all of the things that I'm manifesting in my life, and it's a good time on Pinterest. What else? What is my favorite music album or music genre? I don't have, like, a one specific favorite genre, either, like, indie or I love a good, like, 70s vibe, very, like, Fleetwood Mac, the Rolling Stones, stuff like that, kind of classics. But I do really like an alternative indie vibe. My favorite album, that's a really tough one. I feel like I do have a few different ones, but the one that always comes to mind is Washed Out's Paracosm. that is the album. I sent the 2 songs to Logan to go listen to on Instagram when we first started talking, and that's basically how I got my husband. Like, so that one's pretty special to me, I would say, and I mean, it just never gets old listening to that song, like, or not song, that whole album. It's really cool because I noticed that that album flows like continuously. Like, if you listen to all of the songs in order, each one bleeds into the next, and it's so cool. And Washed Out just can do no wrong. I'm obsessed. Everything that they do is just gold. So that's my favorite, like, album. Let me know if you guys want, like, playlists or anything of, like, stuff that I'm listening to, because my taste ranges all over the place. It's not just, like, one genre, one artist, like, it's kind of all over the place. I'm not a huge country fan, like, at all. I do love, like, a classic, like, Johnny Cash, or, you know, I just can't do, like, Garth Brooks or, like, anything like that. I just, not my jam, but I don't want to yuck anyone's yum. My favorite movie of all time. That is, like, one of the hardest questions in the entire universe. I hate when people ask me, like, only one. You can only pick one. Because I feel like it kind of changes depending on my mood. So I'm going to tell you guys, like, my top 3 favorites. My top 3 favorites would have to be The Shawshank Redemption. If you haven't seen it, you must. It is probably one of the most satisfying endings to a movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It's such a good movie. It's so well done. The acting is incredible, and it's just such a good movie. Everybody needs to see it. I love all of the Alien movies with Sigourney Weaver. She's incredible. I love the first one, and I love the second one. The third one's okay, but the first and the second Alien movies are just, like, some of my most favorite things to watch. I watch them at least, like, 10 times every year. I just could rewatch them all the time. They're so good, and they always, I know what's happening. Like, I know what's coming, but I'm always on the edge of my seat. I just never get sick of them. The most recent one, Alien Covenant, that came out like a few years ago, probably one of the scariest movies I've ever seen in the theater. I don't know, something about those movies just really, like, I think it's because I watched them when I was little and I was terrified of them, but, like, something about them just always brings me back to being a kid, and, like, they just scare me on a whole different level, but they're so good. And I actually got asked a question not too long ago by someone. They were saying, like, if you could play, like, if you were to act in a movie as someone, like, who and what movie would it be? And I would definitely be Ripley from Alien. Like, that would be my dream acting job and dream movie to be in. Like, I would love to fight a crazy, scary alien, and I would love to be an astronaut. Anything to do with space, count me in. So cool. And then my last but not least, probably, like, my number 1 favorite movie of all time is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. If you haven't seen it, you need to. It is just like a classic feel-good 80s movie that also has, like, an incredible message behind it at the same time. Like, it's just such a good movie, and then it's got, like, it's funny, but then it's got, like, really beautiful, like, cinematic, meaningful shots. Like, there's this part where they're in a museum, and it's just, it's so good. It's so good. And I have the biggest crush on Ferris Bueller. My favorite books, that's also a tough one because I love different parts about different books. It's hard for me to pick, like, an absolute favorite, but one that always comes to mind is The Alchemist. I think that's a book that everybody needs to read, especially at, like, a young age. I think it's such a cool message and a great way to kind of, like, have a mindset towards life in general. It's beautiful, and it's just so beautifully written, and there's so many good, like, lessons in it, and it's a good story, so it's, like, intriguing, and it's an easy read. It's beautiful. Everybody needs to read it. And then I also just recently finished The Silent Patient, which I haven't read a ton of like thriller novels, which I think is strange because I'm a huge thriller person. And this was a book that I could not put down. I read it in like 2 days. It kept me on the edge of my seat, and I kept trying to guess the ending, and I didn't get it. And that's one of my favorite things is like, I'm a big, like, I try to guess what the ending is, I try to guess what the twist is, but if I don't guess it, that's the best thing ever. So I definitely recommend that one. And a book that I'm actually looking to read super soon is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Anything by her, I've just heard that she's like incredible, and it's kind of like a self-help book, but not in like a self-helpy way, if that makes sense. I've heard so many good things about her, and she just seems like the sweetest, cutest woman in the entire world. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading that soon. My most embarrassing moment, I feel like that's just, everybody's got to answer this question. My most embarrassing moment would have to be, one comes to mind in particular. It was right after Logan and I decided to make things like official, like we were officially dating, we were boyfriend and girlfriend, and we were on a date. And so I was still kind of like trying to impress him, like I was, you know, I wasn't super like comfortable just being like my full true self around him. Like I was definitely like trying to look cute all the time and like, you know that stage. We went and got burritos from this place. I'm not going to name it. It's not around anymore here in Utah, but I got sick from it twice. We went and got burritos. We ate them in the car on this like really pretty overlook of the city. And I actually ended up getting like really sick pretty much immediately after eating it. And I was just trying to play it cool. Like I was like, I'm fine, whatever. And we ended up like making out a little bit, and I like halfway through I was like, I am going to explode. Like I'm going to crap my pants right now. And so I was like trying to be all cute, and I was like, oh, like I have to like pee. Like I'm just gonna go pee on the side of the road really quick. And I kid you not, I literally thought I was going to crap my pants in front of him. I hop out of the car and I like run off into the dark, into this field. And I basically had diarrhea on the side of the road. I can't believe I'm even telling this right now. But I had diarrhea, and then I came back and I was like, listen, I think I gotta go home. Like, it's a little late. I didn't tell him. I can't believe that I didn't tell him at the time. I should have just told him what was happening. But he takes me home, and I didn't tell him for like 3 years. You guys, I finally told Logan, like, I swear it was literally like last spring. So he had no idea for the longest time. That was really embarrassing, and I just like kept it a secret, and I like told all of my friends about it, and they're like, I can't believe you didn't tell him. C'est la vie. That's, you know, now we're married, everything's good, so that's cool. Oh, here's a good one. Do I believe in aliens? Absolutely, I believe in aliens. I feel like you'd have to live under a rock to not believe in aliens in like some form. You know, like, I don't know that they're like little green men that are in flying saucers that come and, you know, like, I think for sure there's aliens. I feel like it's hard to deny that there's aliens, especially because of how vast the universe is and how little we know about it. You have to assume there's other beings of some sort out there. And yeah, I would love to meet one. I would love to go to outer space and just, you know, learn all about them, as long as they're not trying to kill me. Some favorite podcasts. I have to go with my #1 favorite is My Favorite Murder. I've been listening to My Favorite Murder for like 4 years now. I'm obsessed with them. Karen and Georgia feel like family members to me at this point. And I love podcasts. I feel bad for people that can't get into podcasts because it's just like, you're like sitting with friends and talking about fun things. And I love true crime, so, you know, serial, you know, crime junkies, all of those ones, like, I love them. Other ones that I really like Organic Olivia's podcast, What's the Juice? She always has incredible guests on that are just so informative, and she's just so smart, and she has like the coolest guests on, and love that one. Another one that I really like, if I'm feeling like I've had too much true crime and I need some like fun, happy vibes, I'll listen to What We Said with JC Marie and Chelsea Jade Curtis. Theirs is really fun, and it's like just like girl talk all the time, and it's a good time. And then another one that I really like listening to is The Bad Broadcast. She's actually local to Utah, and I'm just hoping that one day I'll just run into her in downtown Salt Lake. She's so cool, she's so funny, and she just like, I guess her like premise of her podcast is like she complains about things, and it's just so fun, and she's so like hilarious, and you definitely should go listen to her because she's awesome. Oh, actually, another one that I love that should be coming out with new episodes soon, it's called Radio Rental. I actually heard about it from Karen on My Favorite Murder, and it's basically people retelling either crazy or creepy or, you know, unexplainable stories that they have in their own words, and then it's hosted by the guy that plays Dwight on The Office, and it's kind of got this vibe of like he's a VHS rental place guy, and each tape is a new person telling their stories, but they're all true stories. So they're like ghost stories, unexplainable stories, just things that are so crazy and unbelievable, but you get to hear people tell them in their own words, and it's so cool, and it's such a like beautifully done podcast. It's by Payne Lindsay, who did Up and Vanished, so very high production, like very well done. That's a really good one, and I think the next season's coming out soon, which I'm really excited about. I binge listened to like the first 2 seasons in like 2 days. So good. Highly recommend that one. That is all of the questions that I'm going to do for now. Let me know if you guys have any. I wish that I had like the community board on YouTube so I could have included you guys in on asking some questions, but I don't have that yet. So if you do have any questions, I'll probably do another one of these videos in the next month or two, just with some new fun questions. I feel like it's always good to just kind of like get to know me, do like a Q&A every once in a while, that kind of stuff. So let me know if you guys have any pressing questions that you want me to either answer in the comments or in my next video. And I really hope you guys liked this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when new videos come out. I try to post about once a week, so I'm pretty active on here, and I love you all. Thank you so much for your support every single week. You guys never let me down, and I love you all so much, and I will see you next week. Bye.